have a dream.
To fight on the beaches.
That's one small step for man.
The British royals, love them or hate them, they are certainly an interesting bunch. Barely a day goes by without some sort of royals related story breaking in the media, be it a royal wedding, birth or death. There's seemingly little we don't know about the royal family. Well, in this video, we're taking a look at some of the perhaps less well-known facts about Britain's premier family. So sit back, put your feet up and enjoy. You may or may not know that the Queen is a keen driver. In fact, even at the ripe old age of 92, the Queen likes nothing more than to jump behind the wheel of her Land Rover and zip around the royal estates. Of course, official protocol dictates that Her Majesty be chauffeured to official engagements, but when not on duty, the Queen is free to do whatever the chuff she wants. The Queen discovered her love of cars when she joined the Women's Auxiliary Territorial Service in World War II. Here, she gained a reputation for getting her hands dirty. The Queen is the only person in the UK who can drive without a driving licence. This is because of powers given to her under the royal prerogative. These are rights and powers that the sovereign alone possesses. For the same reason, the Queen does not need to display a registration plate on her car. A bit of a strange one this. A little known fact about the royal family is that they are not allowed to play Monopoly. This is because of the competitive nature of the game. In 2008, Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, was given a Monopoly set by the Leeds Building Society. Andrew's baffling response to this friendly gesture was, "We're not allowed to play Monopoly at home, it's too vicious." Nobody wants a Wars of the Roses Mark II, so don't ever think about posting a Monopoly set through Prince Andrew's letterbox. Or any other royal for that matter. The Queen does not have a passport. The reason for this is that all passports in the UK are issued in her name. This means that whilst the Queen is exempt from travelling without a passport, other royals are not. The first page of all British passports reads, "Her Britannic Majesty's Secretary of State requests and requires in the name of Her Majesty all those whom it may concern to allow the bearer to pass freely without let or hindrance and to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary." As all passports are issued in the name of the Queen does not need to issue one to herself. The Queen celebrates 2 birthdays every year. Whilst her official one is on the 21st of April, the Queen has a second, more public celebration on the second Saturday of June. This is not a new tradition, however, as for the past 250 years, all British monarchs have had a second birthday. This tradition was started in 1748 by King George, who decided he wanted a second birthday, which could be shared with his subjects. As his birthday was in November, and the weather's a bit iffy, he decided to hold his public birthday celebration in the summer. And why not combine this with a flamboyant military parade? And that's what he did. The Queen celebrates her second birthday in June every year with a military parade known as the Trooping of the Colour. Touching a member of the royal family could cost you your hands. No, not really. But officially, you are not allowed to touch a British royal unless you are one yourself. Whilst this rule has very much been relaxed in recent times, anything more than a polite handshake could land you in trouble. The reason for this dates back to medieval times, where the monarch was seen as being God's representative on earth. It was therefore not cool for a lowly commoner to touch the monarch. Free hug, anyone? You've heard the saying, the Queen owns all the swans in the land. Well, actually, it seems she does, sort of. This baffling tradition is rooted in medieval times when swans were eaten in their masses, particularly by the upper classes. In order to control who could and couldn't eat swans, a comprehensive marking system was devised whereby rich landowners could apply to the monarch for ownership rights. The monarch would then issue a mark which would be etched into the swans' beaks. Although this system doesn't exist today, during an annual ceremony called Swan Upping, the swans on the River Thames are collected up and counted. This annual swan census ensures that the swans are weighed, measured and given a good health check. The Queen retains the right to claim ownership of any unmarked mute swans swimming in open waters. The royal family are not funded entirely by the state, as many people believe. In fact, the income the royal family receives from the British government amounts to only around £43 million a year. This is known as the sovereign grant and is a grant of money paid by the Treasury every year to keep the monarchy up and running. The grant, however, constitutes only 15% of profits produced every year by the Crown estate. This is a portfolio of properties managed by the royal family but not owned by them, or the government for that matter. The Queen's private income is known as the Privy Purse and comes from the Duchy of Lancaster, a portfolio of land and other assets owned by the Queen. This generates around £18 million a year. The Duchy of Cornwall is another revenue stream which goes to the future King, Prince Charles. This generates around £35 million a year. The Queen is not even close to being one of the richest people in Britain, but with a net worth of around £340 million, she's hardly scraping the barrel. The Queen uses her handbag to give secret signals. You know the drill. You meet up with someone you don't really care much for and you need an escape route. You say to your significant other beforehand, "Call me in 10 minutes and say you need me at home." Well, for the Queen, her methods of ending a meeting are much more subtle. In the unlikely event that you get a private audience with Her Majesty, know this: if the Queen places her handbag on the table, it's a sign to her staff that she wants the meeting to end in less than 5 minutes. If she twiddles with her wedding ring, then she wants a conversation to finish immediately. More worryingly, if the Queen places her handbag on the floor, you're probably going to be killed. You have most definitely crossed the line. So there you go. 8 things you might not have known about the royal family. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, then please do be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I have a dream.
We shall fight on the beaches.
That's one small step for man.